Walter, little Walter. Little Walter, of course, you know, he died. He got knifed in the gut.
Yeah, I remember that.
Big Walter died of natural causes. He was underappreciated. We put him in a movie.
That was nice.
Your friend Pat Hayes, a great harp player.
I know that.
And, you know, the Texas movement. Mickey Raphael played for Willie Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
Delbert McClinton, of course, a great R&B musician, great harp player. And Kim Wilson, Thunderbirds. Now he's with Roomful of Blues.
There's a call for Elwood Blues on the payphone.
Well, I wonder what that could be about. Thanks, Tina. I'll take another draft. And, oh, by the way, it's on him.
Yeah, I got it today. Don't
How about you? You want another?
Yeah, could I have another one of these, please, on the rocks?
You want me to...
Hi.
Oh. Anything else for you?
Oh, no, thanks. That's fine. So where'd Elwood go?
I had a phone call.
Oh, okay.
So, you want to start at the beginning? You know, you and John started talking about the music at some point. How'd the Blues Brothers start?
Well, you have to go back to when John was in Manhattan, a full year before Saturday Night Live. I was doing Second City in Chicago and Toronto. And John worked at National Lampoon. And he wanted to hire Gilda, he wanted to hire me, he wanted to hire Gene Levy, you know, Brian Murray, all the people who were up there who had opened Second City in Toronto. Well, at that time, I was on a kids' TV show. I was at Second City, I had my booze can, the 505, the speakeasy, so I really didn't want to leave Toronto. But John and I hit it off in that first visit. And that first night that he was in town, I brought him back to the booze can, and I put on this record, Downchild Blues Band, Straight Up. Well, John heard that record. He heard Everything I Need Almost. He heard Shotgun Blues. He was thinking about, you know, lyrics and humor in blues, and, you know, the discussion led to, well, wouldn't it be great to actually get a band together sometime? And Howard Shore was there, and he said, yeah, you could call yourselves the Blues Brothers. So this predates Saturday Night Live.
Howard Shore being the
eventual musical director of the
Saturday Night Live.
Right. So John and I corresponded back and forth, and then when I came down to audition for Saturday Night Live, I brought some records with me and over to his house. We used to hang out together.
Right.
And I showed him this album cover of John Lee Hooker, and there was John Lee Hooker, and he had the hat and the shades on. And I said, this is the look. If we ever put this together, this would be the look. The suits and the ties came from, you know, the beatnik era in the 50s and 60s. Beatniks and beat poets and musicians, bebop jazz musicians, would wear straight apparel so that they could go out into straight society and not be hassled. Also, there's an MIB reference, a UFO reference, men in black suits. When UFOs are seen, men in black suits are the ones that come and ask the questions afterwards and tell you to be quiet about it. We also wanted to have that look going. So John loved the look, thought it was great. We got hired for the show. John and I go out and we go to the Lone Star Cafe, and with Duke Robillard and Roomful of Blues, we play for one of the first times in the full uniform. We also jam with Willie Nelson's band, with Mickey Raphael in the full uniform. So now we have this act called the Blues Brothers, but no place to play. So we get on with the Saturday Night Band, and we start to talk about the concept, and Howard says, well, why don't you do a blues number on the show? Well, we were a little reluctant to do that. We didn't, you know, quite want to give it away at that point. And Howard and Lauren came up with the idea of doing the first number that we ever did in the Bees uniform. I know you're probably a little mad.
No. 10 years ago, I'd have been pissed off. 7 years ago, I'd have been hurt. 5 years ago, disappointed I wouldn't accept the charges. Now, I don't have time for bullshit. Don't tell me you're coming home.
Maybe next week.
Oh, that's a relief.
Now listen, my regular glasses got broke.
Oh, how'd they get broke? Some hooker with fat legs put the sleeper hole on you?
Yeah, I'm still wearing them. Tom, you got any quarters? I got the Harley parked out front there. I think 3 should do it.
Go ahead.
You know, it's 25 cents for 10 minutes now.
I got it.
Chicks can be pretty heartless sometimes. Of course, not that I'm perfect.
No.
So you, this, it's gonna be on TV?
Well, it's just a little advance on the European rights. So, where did the Blues Brothers come from? Tell us about the beginning, you know, how to start out.
Well, you want to start from the beginning, you know, you'd have to go back to the Crusades and, you know, the whole origin of the Catholic Church and Catholic schools.
Okay. Here's another round. You guys got everything you need?
Suck up.
It was one of the first songs that John heard to really get him inspired and get him to thinking about blues. John was into heavy metal, you know.
Yeah.
And he really didn't know too much about blues, and it surprised me because Wheaton is a suburb of Chicago, and of course, you know, you'd think that he would have gone into Chicago and listening to all these blues bands, but that wasn't his focus at all. He was into crunch metal, heavy metal, and you know, he was always into that. You know, he liked punk and, you know, crunch guitar and all that. But that Everything I Need Almost and Shotgun Blues were two songs that were on that Straight Up album, and that really encouraged him to get this band going. And we covered those songs on the first album, Briefcase Full of Blues, and, you know, went on to sell 3.5 million copies, and, you know, the rest is Blues Brothers history.
The spare ones are in Tawana's dresser, in the top drawer, in a cigar box. Can you please send them to me, Selena?
Okay, what's the address?
Happy Scott Motel, room number 11.
You know, I don't think he's been to a dentist or a doctor since the physical for the movie.
Well, he looks as good as he's ever looked, really.
Did you get him to talk at all about the band?
No, he never finished explaining how the band got started, really, with him and Jake.
Huh. Well, I can help a little there. Once the King Bee number had been done, you know, we kind of reassessed things and thought, hey, we're never going to do that again. We have a name, the Blues Brothers. We have a look. We have an act. We don't have a band. Let's put it together so we can come on and do this Saturday Night Live show and be a great musical act on the show, just like all the musical acts that were featured on the program. Tom Malone, the horn player in the Saturday Night Live band, said, you know who we should get is Steve Cropper and Duck Dunn. Well, who are they? Well, have you ever heard of 99 and a Half, the Stax Volt songs, Who's Making Love to Your Old Lady, Dock of the Bay, Midnight Hour, Knock on Wood? Of course. You know, are those guys still around? They sure are, and they're still playing. So that was it. Tom Malone convinced John and I to recruit Duck Dunn and Steve Cropper. And then we had a real merger. We had a merger of the electric Chicago blues sound that we both knew and were well versed in, and the Stax Volt Memphis R&B sound with the horn sections and the whole feeling of that type of music inspired by Otis Redding and all the people from that era, David Porter, Isaac Hayes. And of course, when Steve and Duck were consulted, we said, what songs do you think we should do with this band? They said, hey man, we got to recut Soul Man. And that's what happened. They suggested we recut Soul Man. It was a #1. Hey, should I go and see if I can get him?
Now, why don't you stay here? Let me go find him. I want.
All
right. No, here he is. Okay, good.
Oh, hey. Dan, how you doing?
Well, hey,
Yeah, you look like you lost a little weight, huh?
good to see you. You look sane.
Now, you guys did 3 albums with Jake. How did you go about getting that first one down?
Well, you know, really, like, you know, he's not here anymore to talk about that, so I really don't feel comfortable talking about it, so, yeah, whatever.
And what is it with him?
It's, you know, that nervous ex-con thing. He just really can't sit still, you know, it's...
Well, I guess he's been doing pretty well considering.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell us on that album, how'd you get that first one down? How'd you choose the songs? How'd you do it?
What we aimed to do in there was to get away from the traditional shuffle, chunka, 12-bar shuffle type blues. We started to look for songs that had a different syncopation. That's why I picked up on Messin' with the Kid, the Junior Wells tune, which was a sensational blues tune that didn't have that traditional shuffle to it.
Hey, Elwood, you want to mess with the kid? I don't want to mess with the kid. Yeah, I know that. How about you guys in the band? You guys want to mess with the kid? Anybody? How about you people out there? You want to mess with the kid?
We decided to cut Everything I Need Almost. We decided to cut a little song called Groove Me, but we did it as a reggae tune.
I want you to roll me a great big giant so I can reach the man. Hey there, sugar darling, let me tell you something. Girl, I've been trying to say. You look so sweet and you're so doggone fine. I just can't get you out of my mind. You become the sweetest in my mouth now. And I want you to be my spouse, so that we can live happily now in a great big old roomy house. You know you got to groove me, baby. Oh yeah, make me feel good inside. Come on, groove me, baby. I need you to groove. Hey! Hey there, sugar darling, let me tell you something. Girl, I've been trying for days. Give me some love and some bloody hugging. Ooh, you cute little tank. Girl, between you and me now, well, don't need no company. No other man, no other girl now can enter into our world. As long as you groove, baby. Oh yeah, make me feel good inside. Come on, groove me, baby. I need you to groove. Hey, holy man, His Majesty, Haile Selassie. Hey, I got the Rastaman vibration. Hey, hey man, you know Kingston we come from, man. That's right, man. I spent 2 years in Babylon. What did he put you in Babylon for? Possession of a gun, man. When I come to this country, I bring a little surprise for everybody. Yeah, what do you bring back with you? 75 pounds of nothing from Jamaica!
That's basically what we were. We were fair musicians. John was a fair vocalist, although he did get better. I was a fair harmonica player, although I did get better. But what we did was...
Great performers, Alan.
We were great performers and great frontmen.
Now when I get the blues, gonna get me a rocking chair. Now when I get the blues, gonna get me a rocking chair. And if the blues overtake me, gonna rock right away from here. Now when I get lonesome, get on the telephone. Now when I get lonesome, get on the telephone. Well, I call my baby, tell her I'm on my way back home. Left, line, I don't care. slump. I got so many women, I don't know which way to jump. Help left, I'll right. Don't care if I die. Left, I'll right. I don't care if I die. Don't ever say goodbye.
And so basically, you know, it was trying to find songs that were not traditional blues numbers. Because although we were calling ourselves a blues band, we wanted to variate. We wanted the Chicago sound, the Memphis sound, the reggae sound, the rock and roll rubber biscuit wild sound from the 50s, and all of it blended to make that phenomenal first album, which we knew at that point, when we picked all those songs, that we had it together to do an album. And we went and we recorded that album for the Steve Martin Universal Amphitheater show.
I saw that one. Good show.
We went out on stage and we recorded. We parked a truck in the back and recorded the record.
Outdoors.
Outdoors.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Universal Amphitheater. Well, here it is, the late 1970s, going on 1985. You know, so much of the music we hear today is pre-programmed electronic disco. It's so rare we get a chance to see master bluesmen practicing their craft. So while we still can, let us welcome from Calumet City, Illinois, the band of Joliet, Jake, and Elwood Blues, the Blues Brothers.
When did you write the movie?
The movie came in the frenzy of that first recording spurt there, when we finished the first album, we realized, that this was going to be a big hit. We went double platinum with it. John said, called and said, you got to come to Hollywood. It's great, it's great, it's great. They want us to do a Blues Mothers movie. I said, fine, I'll start thinking about it. And I started to write it at the same time of writing Saturday Night Live, and I wrote it at Hudson and Dominic at the bar. I wrote it on my bike. I used to carry it around in my saddlebag. I remember one time I lost it, remember, and I went crazy. And
Yes, you were upset.
I was quite upset, and I hurt myself, and, I was like crawling down the hall like a salamander.
Where was that script?
It was in my, my bike somewhere in a drawer, I don't know. So it took me all of that time between Animal House and when we did the movie to write it. And of course, the first draft I turned in, I put it in phone book covers because it was 300 pages long. What I'd gone ahead and done was I'd written the movie and the sequel. I call it The Return of the Blues Brothers. And in there it was like the Bible of the Blues Brothers, with all the characters, with all the band back history and all the backstory on the band members and where they all came from. And, basically it was just too long. And Landis took it and said, hey, man, we don't make 300-page movies. We make 120-page movies. I sat down with Landis, and we were able to come up with a script that eventually became the movie that everybody tells me is a classic today.
Walked through a party in a county jail. Prison hours there never began well. The drum was jumping and the drum began to sing. You should have heard a knocked out jailbird really let it rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the old step block. Go dance to the jailhouse rock. Well, number 47 says to number 3. You're the cutest jailbird I ever did see. You would be delighted with your company. I'm gonna do the jailhouse rock with me, let it rock. Everybody, let it rock. Everybody on the old step now. Dance to the jailhouse rock. Well, Spider-Man was playing on the saxophone. Well, little Joe was playing on the slide trombone. Drummer boy from Illinois, crash, boom, bang. The whole rhythm section was a purple again. Let's rock. Let's rock. Everybody on the old side. Go dance to the jail. On a block of stone, way over in the corner waiting all alone. The one said, "Hey buddy, don't you be no square. You can't find a partner, use a wooden chair. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the whole town. Put down to the jailhouse rock. Well, but said the money's up for heaven's sakes. No one's looking out, it's time to make your break. Well, he said the road, then he said, Nix, I want to stick around and get my kicks. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the whole town now. Oh, dance to the jailhouse rock. 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 Everybody on the whole town now. Oh, dance to the jailhouse rock.
Man, I love that song.
Yeah,
that's a great song.
That's a burner.
Where did Elwood go?
I don't know.
Look, would you let me out for a minute? I'll be right back.
Sure. You want another?
No, I'm still working on that one. Maybe get me a bottled water or something.
Boy, it's the 90s, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the 90s, all right. Hey, there you are.
Yeah, brew in the afternoon.
Hey, when we get back to the table, you want to talk about the Blues Brothers tour and the second and third album?
Well, sure. I mean, you know, there's no mystery. The second album was the soundtrack album for the movie. So it was a very professionally done album. The first album, Briefcase Full of Blues, of course, was a live album. We did that opening for Steve Martin, you know, at the Universal Amphitheater. We had some trucks parked outside, and, you know, we recorded that album and went on to be a bestseller. And then we did the movie. In the movie, we had to go into the studio. So we had Paul Schaefer working on that. We had Bob Tishley. We had Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles on that record. I was playing some pretty half-decent harp. You know,
Yeah, you were playing good.
it's one of my favorite ones because it's a very polished, professional-sounding record. That soundtrack album.
We got some great footage. You remember the New Year's Eve show with the Grateful Dead, that Winterland?
That was good because that legitimized the band. It was like here we were with the New Riders of the Purple Sage, the Grateful Dead. We were playing at Winterland, which was supposed to be for the last time. Bill Graham said, you know, for the last time, God rest his soul. He ended up opening the place after that, but...
It was a great show. I got lost that night.
Yeah, I think I sang
In the
Rubber Biscuit.
auditorium.
We should take a look at it.
Do that again.
Have you ever heard of a wish sandwich? A wish sandwich is the kind of a sandwich where you have 2 slices of bread and you wish you had some meat. Bow, bow, bow. The other day, I had a ricochet biscuit. A ricochet biscuit is the kind of a biscuit that's supposed to bounce off the wall back in your mouth. If it don't bounce back, you go hungry. Bow, bow, bow. The other day, I had a cool water sandwich and a Sunday go to meeting bun. Bow, bow, bow. What do you want for nothing? Rubber biscuit? Bow, bow,
So you ever seen Kim Wilson and the Thunderbirds?
Yeah, they're great.
Seen them live, huh?
Oh, you bet.
Hey,
a couple of times.
Dan,
You know it.
Dan, I was just talking to Elwood in the can there about the second and third albums.
Elwood, when was the last time you heard those records?
I tell you, Dan, I got 8-track dubs, all those albums. I listen to them in the Dodge all the time.
8-track.
Hey, where is the original Bluesmobile? Where is it?
I heard that some chick ran it into a telephone pole across from Wrigley Stadium.
Yeah, she whacked it pretty good. Bent the frame up so it doesn't pass inspection now. And, well, we put it, you know, got a rope one night and put it at the back of a friend's pickup, and I towed it out to Hamel, Minnesota. My friend's got a farm there, Pat Hayes from the Lamont Cranston Band.
Hey, can I ask a question about John and Jake for a minute?
Sure.
I mean, You two both seem a lot closer since you each lost a partner, although I think maybe it was a little tougher on you, Elwood. But how's that affected the band?
Want me to tackle this one?
Please, if you would.
Well, John and I, of course, had a beautiful run with the band. We did Briefcase Full of Blues, then we did the movie and the soundtrack album. The first album sold close to 3 million copies. The soundtrack sold close to 1 million, if not more. And the Made in America album sold around 300,000 copies. So it really wasn't successful anymore. And it didn't bother John and I, really. What we had done, we'd come in '79 when disco was fading. Prior to New Wave and Punk, there was a gap in American music. And with that song, Soul Man, we reminded people that there was real classic music that had been created in America that was still valid.
A timeless classic.
A timeless classic. By the end of the summer, the act had pretty well run its course, and John and I determined that it really was over. At that point, he was involved in, his movie career. I was involved in movies. We did Neighbors together.
We were partners.
Yeah, we were partners. He went off to do Continental Divide, and then he went to Los Angeles, fell into the ennui of the business, being manipulated and moved around by all the power brokers and financiers and everything, and there were winds in his sails that he didn't have control over. And of course, we know the ignominious circumstances under which he died. And at that point, the act was dead, gone, finished, and over. But it hasn't gone away. Now we have a Blues Brothers band that is touring all the time.
He's still alive.
Elwood plays with the band when he opens House of Blues, when he opens, which is our restaurant and bar chain that's being opened now under the auspices of the Blues Brothers logo. Elwood played at the Hard Rock Cafe with Paul Schaefer when they opened up. Elwood's been on stage with Floyd Dixon, and they do Everybody Needs Somebody to Love, which he's very proud of. The music, I think he'll tell you, doesn't die when you lose certain personnel.
We lost Marvin Gaye, we lost Stevie Ray, we lost Otis, Jake, but, R&B never dies.
There's still a lot of people left alive.
Well, of course, and the band is touring around the world right now. I can't really go with them because I'm, going to beat this insurance fraud thing, but, so I got to kind of stay around in the state right now, but, we've been working with Isaac Tigrit there. He's an impresario, an entrepreneur. He started a Hard Rock cafe chain in the East, and opened the clubs in Dallas and New York, and the band used to show up there, and Paul Schaefer joined us. Yeah. Bill Murray came on once and was singing in New York with us one time. And right now I got Eddie Floyd in the band as the lead singer and show star. He's a guy who sang on Knock on Wood.
Right.
Terrific. We do Everybody Needs Somebody to Love at the end of the show. It just, rips the roof off the house. It's fantastic. And Larry Thurston's our other vocalist in the band. He's a fantastic young singer. Cropper, Murphy, and Dunn, they sound like 19-year-old guitar players. And, it's just not ever going to be what it was when Jake was there, but it's still a fantastic R&B act, and everybody gets their money's worth, I don't know, one of the first songs that he did, it's the one I always go back to when I want to remember him and get that essence of the band, and, that was that song that was written by Donnie Walsh from Down Child Blues Band in Toronto.
Well, what song is that?
That song that we cut called Shotgun Blues. And whenever I want to think about Jake, I just put on that song, and it gets me right back into the original spirit of what the band was all about.
Every night I go to sleep, blues go down like rain. Every night I go to sleep, the blues fall down like rain. Taking pills and cheap whiskey just to try to ease the pain. Well, it's hard to gamble when you lose every bet. Hard to save money awake. Now my mind don't wake and my whole body. Blues is falling down on me like rain. My life is like water, just swirling down the drain. I tried standing up, keep on falling down. Tried standing up, keep on falling down. Well, everywhere I go, woo, is all
The music will never die. And I just encourage the young kids to keep playing it and keep listening to the harp and keep listening to the guitar and go out there and be one of those 2,000 blues bands that plays around the world. You know, I'm behind you all the way.
So, the band comes back from the dead.
That's it. I get a bail, you guys. I gotta go help my buddy Lucky Bill Lucas knock down a kitchen wall.
All right, well,
So
thanks for talking to us.
I'll see you, Dan, and I'll see you, Tom. Say hello to Pat Hayes for me. Tell him to keep a tarp over the Bluesmobile.
You will.
And I'll see you at opening a House of Blues in Chicago and New Orleans and Los Angeles. The big club on Sunset Boulevard is going to be the granddaddy of them all. We're going to just bring the blues back to the world.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, by the way.
Hey,
I'll
no
be there.
problem.
Thank you, Elwood. You were great. I'll talk to you later.
See you later.
There's a guy who hasn't changed.
Well, I think he's starting to open up a little.
Yeah, he never used to sit there and talk to you like this.
Yeah, he's, you know, in his old age, starting to let on a little what goes on behind those shades. But I'll tell you, that man expresses himself best when he's got that band behind him.
I agree. Well, it's been nice talking to you. Thanks for taking the time. Maybe we ought to wrap this up with one last tune. What do you want to do?
Well, I'd like to maybe propose that we take a look at an alternate version of Soul Man, since that was the song that got us started.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
coming to you on a dusty road. Good loving, I got a truckload. And when you get it, you got something